What's up, it's Shawn Baligian.
What up, this is Joique Bell here on the Baligian and Bell Show.
Make sure you check us out on the Woodward Sports Network. Hi there, how are you? Everything going well? Fantastic thing. Friday, so glad you could join us wherever you may be, all over the great state of Michigan. Got to get my cap on. Did you know you can buy these at the woodwardsports.com
Good segue.
shop? Were you aware of that? Do you want some gear like that? They got some great gear if you haven't checked it out yet.
You look nice today, Shawn.
That's very nice.
You look nice. You got on a nice, okay.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
I did a little lifting last night. I feel pretty good.
I know.
I
it's
feel,
good.
I,
Right.
I feel pretty good right now.
Friday. It's Gun Show Friday.
Is that what you were doing today?
Oh, yeah.
Did you get up early this morning?
I got up early, but I didn't go to the gym. I missed this morning.
Okay, you know what? We had no intention of talking on this, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
So what's your routine? I want to compare my routine. I have a routine every morning since I started doing the show with you.
It varies. So
Okay.
Monday, Tuesdays are different from Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And so I did a 90-day program. It just ended. I started a new one up next week. And so it'll be.
Does it mean you can eat meat?
No, when I say program, I'm talking about workout regimen.
Okay.
So I'll be up around 5:30 to the gym by 6. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Thursday is my day off, so I can wake up about 8. I can sleep in a little bit. And then Friday will be, I have to look at my program, but I think I have to get up again at around 5:36. But it's cool, but I like it because it wakes me up, it gives me a head start. And
it's like military man stuff.
yeah, I like it though. I mean, and then that's kind of what I'm equipped to. So I used to hate it, and now it's just part of the routine.
You get used to it.
You get used to
Yeah.
it. It's part of the routine.
So what do you do? I mean, are you going into the gym? I know your buddy owns a gym, and
yeah. So I'll go to his gym sometimes when I first initially started, but now I have a membership somewhere else, and I just go there. It just makes sense because they have everything I need as far as like treadmills. I like to do HIIT workouts on the treadmill at the end, and my guy is more of a private gym, more cross training, more so than anything, and boxing, and which is a very good workout. It's a very good workout.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. It's just with the program that I'm on, it better suits me to go to this other gym. But when I'm done with this program, I'll be back at his gym for sure. Yeah. And it's funny though, because before the show starts, right? Mm-hmm. You have a lot of people they have high anxiety. Art has high anxiety before every show.
Just leave me
right?
alone.
Fish, I need you off the set. I need you hey, 10 seconds. We're going live. Hey, Mike's hot. 5 seconds. Mike's hot.
I know where this
is going. Job. You know what?
If we had a BTS camera here, it really, like, if you guys knew what happens in this studio between 10 and 10:59, you wouldn't. Maz and I were the old guys today. I walk in at 10:01. Yeah.
Thank you.
And I'm not joking. There are literally 10 people standing around this table. Wow. Some of them had their shirts off.
I've got a clip of it.
Some of them were like doing wacky dances and everything. Yeah. And I walk in and I'm looking for one face that feels the exact same way that I do. Thank God Tom Mazaway was there, right? I mean, I felt like Summerall at that moment. Mazaway. Freedom. I look at Maz and I go, what the hell's going on? And he just goes, I don't know, bro. And it was like, so we had our old man moment where we were both like, you darn kids, I don't know what wackiness is going on here, but I just want to come in here and prep for a sports show and everything. So you had all that wild, and then you have a moment where okay, Justin in the back has to come in, and I have to like record these sports updates. So there's all these people in here. There's bottles of vodka. I mean, woo! I mean, there's this crazy party going on and everything.
Live.
Our friends from 8
What's
Mile.
8 Mile.
Shout out to Mike and George. George is my next door neighbor, by the way. Like, serious. When you come over for a barbecue, okay? And Joique, you are coming over for a barbecue.
I don't usually drink, but when I do, it's the 8 Mile vodka.
Joique, when you come over for a barbecue and you're coming over for a barbecue,
Did you get a close up on that?
you guys can meet George. George's a great dude. So then Justin has to come in here and he has to yell at everybody, quiet on the set. But Justin's not a yeller, right? Justin's not really a yeller. Justin's kind of looking frustrated. So finally it was Joey that screams out, hey, everybody quiet, right? So everybody got quiet. I did my sports cast.
Joey?
I did my sports
Was
cast.
it Joey?
But in the meantime, there's all these people are dancing, going crazy in here. And I'm just going, I just want to sit here. Can I sit here and read about the Lions salary cap? That's what I just want to read about the Lions salary cap. So,
Our beloved Lions.
yeah, I mean, Joique, seriously, that's what happened. And then to Joique's point, this is where we need a camera like back here or hidden somewhere in here for the last 5 minutes before the show, because that's when the crap really. I caught myself. Yes, progress. That's when the crap really hits the fan.
That's 50 cents in the jar. We won't do say a whole dollar. It's 50 cents.
I got the magic stick.
It's 50 cents.
Were you proud? Come on, 50 cent
That
magic.
was good.
Come on, a little bit.
Hold on, really quick. You said you got in at 10-1, and R started. Hey, yeah.
Oh no, here we go.
What's that?
It's early's on time is late, and late is unacceptable. Even 15 minutes early would be great. Y'all don't know what I have to do to put this show together, and you don't care.
I knew
Everybody was here 15 minutes early.
No, you weren't. You showed up at 10:55.
I walked in here at 10:51 because I had to do my reads. I had to do my reads first on camera. Sorry, I can't be on your time. Everybody needs me.
If you come here at 10 and gotten it done.
But everybody needs the talent. Everybody needs the talent. And so they needed
show
me.
up on time.
You know what? I had to go do my reads on the green screen. I'm sorry, Art, that I can't be on your schedule.
What time did you get here?
I got here at 10:38.
Thank you.
10:38 is when I got here.
And what time did you get in the studio?
I was in that part of the studio.
That's not 10:45.
What is
happening?
What do you want? You asked me, am I sitting right here? It took you 30 seconds.
Can we talk about our feelings? Can we verbalize our feelings?
Yeah, because Art right now,
like
his anxiety is still up. Art anxiety is still up.
I am ready for 1 o'clock. I love you, Shawn. I'm ready for 1 o'clock.
It takes a long time because I think you guys know this about me. I'm animated. I can blow up at the drop of a hat. I really can. But the one thing that being a parent taught me, Joique, and I'm sure that you learned this lesson.
So we're your kids. Okay.
No. Patience.
Okay.
I've learned to. I've learned,
I have none.
I've learned to become patient in life. So instead of like when my kids get like that, and Art, I know that sounds condescending,
Art is making me.
I'm not comparing you to my kids. But you know what I do to my? Do you know what I do to my kids? Like my kids will be all worked up, and I'll go like this. And my son has admitted to me now that he's 21. He goes, Dad, it's like you undress me. I just look at him and I go, Jack, can you please talk to me?
Can I try that with Joique?
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do.
Can I try that right now?
All right. Yeah, hold on. Shh. But you need to bring it down.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. All right. So what we're going to do, I'm going to try to set the tempo. I'm going to talk like this, and I'm going to say, maybe this is a time where we can. Jeez, oh Pete, when he takes his shirt off, it scares me. I'm not going to lie to you.
Why?
Look at him. The man's a beast.
And look at me.
Look at him. So listen.
All right, shut up.
Now,
see,
Joique, that is not productive. If we can sit and talk and have a nice conversation,
you know what?
My
therapist told me that I need to sit back. I need to relax.
See,
and when it comes to dealing with people at work, I need to be able to talk to them amicably.
Yes.
You know. So
let's try that.
So Art, when I come into work, I have to do multiple things just saying, you have to do multiple things. It's not so hard for me to sit here and you to move a camera on my seat. Okay.
Okay.
Joique, what
Art,
upsets?
can I?
Hold on.
Art,
First,
can-
it's first because he's talking now, but even though he's been condescending when he says Joique, and his tone is up here. I remember I was talking to my mom like this, but she'll say, "Watch your tone." Even though you're talking low, she'll say, "Watch your tone." Mass, you know what I'm talking about? It can be, your voice can be low, but your tone can still be.
Namaste or whatever,
Yamasta.
whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Hello, Art. How are you today?
I would like to first apologize for my words and the aggressive tone. I am dealing with a lot of outside noise outside of the building that is drastically affecting my mood on a daily basis. Early is on time is late.
Yeah. You know.
Early is on time is late. Late is unacceptable.
So-
I do more than just press buttons and make fart jokes. There's a lot that goes behind talking on a mic and getting things ready. I'm
jokes.
asking for 15 minutes.
Hey,
Sean,
can we mute his mic?
thank you
Can we
for
mute his
showing
mic?
up an hour early every day.
All right. So now Grammy Whammy's watching. She already dropped a Joique. All right. So
Hey, Grandma. Hey. At this point, you got to pick a side. You're either gonna be working with Art or you're working with me. There's no in between anymore. There's no in between. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Art, y'all talk about information.
Art, if I'm hearing this correctly, your request of Joique would be to show up here instead of at 10:35, 10:20.
What I would like to see happen is, although he has a lot of fun video stuff that makes him look really strong, makes him great on air, and he's a great talent. With talent, we deal with difficult people. Let's be honest. We're all talented, but we all have sometimes a little bit of an ego.
Are we late?
So,
Am I late?
10:45. I just
Am I
need
late?
15 minutes. I need 1 minute to adjust the cameras and mic. 14 minutes for any errors or any extra people or any other thing that might happen.
All right. So if I'm hearing this correctly,
That has nothing to do with me.
I know, but I'm trying to. If I'm
Nothing to
hearing
do.
this correctly, oh no, shh, we're gonna work through this. We're gonna work through this. I feel like Dr. Rick right now from the Progressive commercials. How not to become your parents. Right now, we're gonna work through this. Art, if I'm hearing you correctly, what you are requesting of Mr. Bell, and I'm gonna use Mr. Bell once he takes off his shirt. Jeez, oh Pete.
You don't want to see me with my shirt off. I will shock the world.
Nobody wants to see you with your shirt off.
All right, so
Not even my wife,
Not
but
even
go
Trisha.
on.
Not even Trisha.
Arthur, so what I'm hearing is it would make your life easier if Mr. Bell got here at 10:20 as opposed to 10:35. Is that fair?
Yes, and if there is any videos that need to be done,
Okay.
the 1 minute videos,
Okay.
that it should only take a minute to film,
Okay.
can be done between 10 a.m. and 10:20.
Now,
yes.
Mr. Bell, you heard what Arthur said. His life would be made easier if you came in at 10:20 instead of 10:35. Is it possible? You're not gazing into the magic conch, are you?
Don't do this right now.
Is it possible in the interest of finding common ground between you two? Is it possible for you to get here at 10:20 as opposed to 10:35?
I'm gonna get here when I get here.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna get here in time.
That's what I'm talking
I'm
about,
gonna get here on
Sean.
time to do my green screen. I
Oh
came
my
walking. I
goodness.
walked in here 10 minutes before. If he needs more than 10 minutes to move a camera and a mic, then we got the wrong man for the job.
Fish, you start on
no.
Tuesday.
And
I'll do
then-
the last one on Monday with Terry Foster.
Hey.
You just lost the best producer you could ever have, and you lost the best friend.
My best friend. My best friend is on his way to Flint to check
Blocking
on
your
our
number,
properties right now.
blocking you on
hear
Instagram,
me?
on Facebook,
My
on
best
Twitter.
friend is on
You
his
don't
way to
exist.
Flint right now to check on our properties. That's where my best friend is. I didn't lose my best friend. And as far as best producer, we've been lost that when Adam left. So
How
hey,
dare you?
hey.
Blocking you on Instagram, blocking you on Twitter. He's in the other room.
He-
Going down the list.
Art, listen, I'm telling you right now, Art is on the phone texting Trisha, unfollow Joique on Facebook now.
Yep.
Yeah. She's like, no, that's my best friend.
All right, now wait a second. Jenna said, Art, your acting is on point.
Thank you.
I'm not acting. acting. I'm asking for 15 to 20 minutes.
You know what I love? And you know what I love? You know what I loved about what you did, Jenna? You put emphasis on it by putting it in all caps. Because that's all crap he's talking right now. I've never been late one time for this show.
What time were you in the studio today? What time were you in the studio today? 10:55.
10:38.
You were in the studio here at 10:55.
In the studio.
I was in here at 10:50.
Okay, is that 10:45?
No.
Early is on time.
You literally just said that it only takes you 30 seconds to adjust my camera and my mic.
And then I need 9 extra minutes for errors.
Can we find a happy medium? Is there any?
Next subject. My mic will be off for the rest of the day. Protesting.
Your mic need to be off for the rest of the year. All right, when was our contract up, Shawn?
We went backwards.
Quick.
That's what I get for trying to fix things.
Are we up against a break yet?
No, actually, no. So yeah, sorry. And Kennedy said sports. I'm sorry, Kennedy. There's toxicity in here. There is, and I just thought in front of the people we would try to talk out our feelings, and it failed miserably. Sorry, I tried, and you know what? There's just.
Hey, you know what they say? There's no feelings. There are no feelings in sports. There's no feelings.
It's nothing personal.
When
it's just
go
business.
time, it's go time.
You have to do. There's no crying in baseball.
Put some dirt on it. Don't rub it.
There's
Don't rub it. All right, don't rub it.
Now you know what? At the end of the day, for me, this is just one of those things that unfortunately, sometimes right before we go on the air, this is how it initially started. We're going to end it here. There's something in this room. There's no other way to say that.
And there's like some sage in here.
Fish, get out of the scene! Poor Fish is trying to get the computer done and everything.
On this
you think is that what it is? It's an exorcism?
Yeah. It's not. It doesn't start until the last 5 minutes of the show. The last 5 minutes, right before the show starts, is when it all starts. Fish, I need you off. Well, I'm setting up the live. Okay, well, hurry up. I need it. Anxiety. Art.
Steve said Shawn is a bad therapist. Well, I'm not going to argue with that.
Hey,
absolutely not. Blame me.
You ever seen Bad Moms and they go to the therapist? They sit down. You know what I'm talking about, Art? You ever seen that? Bad Moms? They go to the therapist and she's and basically at the end of the session, she said, "You remember I told you that every relationship can be worked out?" That's not the case in this situation. Y'all need to get divorced.
We're never.
It's just never going.
And that's okay.
Yeah, I try to play with.
Do you have somebody in your life like that? There's. I'm not going to say.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
His name is Art.
There's some.
His name is Art.
Ask a stupid question.
No,
but there's somebody who at one point in time was pretty close to me, and I think sometimes things happen. And you're just never. You're never going to get back.
Yeah.
It just.
But you have closure though.
Yeah, it's good. And it's not. It's one of those things, and it's not in the business or anything like that, so I don't want to. Yeah. But just somebody in my life that I've known a long time, and it's like, I don't wish ill will on anybody. I really don't. I'm not trying to be PC. It just, best of luck to you. Just stay the hell over there. Just stay over there. Yeah, it's exactly.
You got closure.
Amen. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not going to hit you. You don't have to worry. I'm not going to go off on you.
Just keep that.
Best of luck.
Keep that up.
There is a glass booth now. If people can't see that,
you can't see it,
and it helps. You know what's crazy?
Speaking of closure.
Were we both going for the segue at the same time? I'm going to let you go with the segue.
Speaking of closure, we talked about this earlier, about first-round quarterbacks from 2015 until now. No team in the NFL has their first-round quarterback.
It's Mahomes. It's crazy. Everybody's flipping their quarterbacks. It's crazy. Like, is it pre-16, I think is the number?
Yeah.
Everybody's flipping their quarterbacks. Nobody's there long term. If you're talking about first rounders. Carr was a second rounder. I've never seen anything like this in my lifetime in the National Football League. There's nothing to compare it to. This quarterback flipping. It's like flipping houses, man. One of those shows you watch.
Does this kind of revert back to what you were saying about how GMs come in, right? They come in, they make a decision, and then later on down the road, they say, you know what? I messed up. This is not going to work. Let's part ways. Or would you rather them stick with the quarterbacks that they drafted and give him more time? Now, we talked about this.
No, and I think that's a great question, Joique, because I think the worst thing you can do is give up early. I mean, this is such a you need results now type of thing. And I always go back to Darius Slay. Okay? Right. There were people in this town that were calling in radio shows that people like Maz and I were involved in that were saying the Lions blew another second-round pick. We got to get this Slay bum out of here. People said that. Living, breathing organisms said that. Now, you know how it works in this life. You'll never hear from those people when he goes to the Pro Bowl. You'll never hear from those people again. But the reality is I can't tell you how many times people said, oh, my gosh, the Lions wasted. And I'm going, he's a rookie cornerback. What planet do you live on? And if you don't believe me that happens, ask people out there about Jeff Okudah right now. People are going to say the same thing about Jeff Okudah. Jeff Okudah was a disaster last year. If Jeff Okudah was sitting next to me, Jeff Okudah would look in that camera and go, yeah, I was a disaster last year. But the idea that people want to throw the baby out with the bathwater is mind-boggling to me, right?
Yeah.
Give a guy a little time. But to your point, Joy,
we talk about this all the time.
When you're talking about the most important piece of your franchise, your quarterback, right, how much time do you give him? I mean, seriously, how much time do you give a guy like that?
You give him as much time as he needs, as long as you're seeing progression on a yearly basis. All right, he's getting better every year. Why would we throw that away? He goes from an 88 quarterback rating. Now the following year he's a 92. He goes up to a 95. Then he's at a 97. He's going up every single year in his quarterback rating, right? Do you walk away from a guy like that? Now you have a guy that stands stagnant and then he's dipping down. Then he goes back to where he was when he first came in and he's just an average quarterback and he's not the guy. Then you move on. You realize as a GM, I brought in the wrong guy.
I'm going to talk about this when we come back, and I know I'm going to bring up something that I know is near and dear to your heart. There's a big difference between taking a guy in the second round and taking a guy in the first round, and we'll tell you why when we come back. And it's the C word. It's control, okay? I mean, there's no other way to say that. Start a new career in an industry that is always essential, the heating and cooling industry. You can learn more today by visiting northwesterntech.edu. Some meanderings about how the contracts work and, quite frankly, how much space do the Lions have. They don't have a lot, but I'll tell you what, they're going to get some more very soon. Art. Don't go anywhere. This is Woodward Sports.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We're recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand. Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10 and a half months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
a graduate
of Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Hey, it's Joey from Woodward Sports, and I am here in downtown Fenton at Bridge Street Exchange. This place has so many amazing things for guys and ladies. This is the hidden spot that you got to come check out. I'm talking thorough good boots, best boots ever. They have barware. They got the Stormy Cromer hats. They got Carhartt hats, a huge Carhartt selection. They even got Snoop Dogg underwear. So go check them out, bridgestreetexchange.com, and use the code word WSN for 15% off.
So what is up? Glad you could join us. Quarterback carousel. Honestly, all right. So even the guys like Maz and I, who have watched this league a lot longer than, well, a majority of you have, I've never seen anything like this in my life. Where not only have you seen names flip and guys that were first round draft picks. Let me rephrase that. First round high draft picks flipping, but we're not done. We're not even done. That's the craziest thing about it. Anybody pre-2015 that was a first-round draft pick. Look at it. Everybody's going like this. So the question was, well, how long do you give a guy like that? A big difference is, and Kevin just brought this up, and that's why I gave him the thumbs up, it's the fifth-year option, Joique. Having that guy for an extra year of team control makes all the difference in the world. And to your point, let's say, and there have been some quarterbacks that it's taken them a little while to get going, right? There have been some quarterbacks that it's taken them a little while.
Yeah.
Lest we forget a guy like Brett Favre, while it wasn't, a high draft pick, he meandered in Atlanta and then finally ended up in Green Bay and then, got an opportunity a couple years in.
Nah, he was a different case. He was a party animal when he was in Atlanta. So
Sure.
he wasn't all the way in tune when.
But I think I think that the point remains, you have to be patient with these guys, whether it be maturity, whether it be talent. A guy that has that magical fifth year, that first round pick, is going to be given more rope than a guy that was even taken in the second round. That's just the way it is.
That's the way it is. Exactly. And that's one thing, it's how money can prolong your career, right? Prolong your chances. You might even have an opportunity to make the same mistake 3 times. When you go farther in the draft, 6th round, 7th, undrafted, especially undrafted, you can't afford to make the same mistake twice, right? And sometimes you can't make a mistake. Now, understand the NFL, there's going to be mistakes. It's going to happen. And coaches always say, well, if you do make it going 100 miles per hour. You hear the saying. No. I've seen guys get cut off one mistake, right? I've seen a guy, and this has nothing to do with football. I've seen a guy in practice, we're throwing a ball in practice. The guy throws the ball in the middle of nowhere. I'm like, who's he throwing the ball to? And the ball comes down and hits the owner's wife in the face. Pop. He was gone in a week.
Are you serious?
I'm not lying. He was gone in a week.
Well, you know what? That always goes back to the famous story about when Jimmy Johnson went to Dallas. I don't know if we've talked about this here, but everybody was like, "There's a new sheriff in town." He cut a guy that fell asleep in one of his film classes. Like, stopped the film, berated the guy, and said, "Pack your crap and get out of here," right? And all that stuff. Well, that's ooh and ah. Everybody goes ooh and ah. Ooh, he means business, right? Yeah. Well, let's play a game of pretend. If that's Emmitt Smith falling asleep in the back row, do you think he cuts Emmitt Smith?
No.
If that's Michael Irvin, if that's Charles Haley, there's no way in hell you're doing that, man. No. That's the reality of the game.
No. No. It's because, listen now, are people going to fall asleep in the meetings? Yes, it's going to happen. I play with players who fell asleep through the entire meeting. I play with guys who fell asleep in meetings, and they're going in their 12th year in the NFL right now with 2 Super Bowl rings. Yeah, now you're thinking. Now he's thinking. I said, you know what? When I'm talking and I'm making a point about a certain player and I say a story, I always see Shy go to, who could he be speaking of? Who? Look like Mr. Burns from the Simpsons.
Smithers. You're going to have to tell me who that scoundrel was.
It's so good. Shot is too talented. I love it.
So, Smithers, who was that scoundrel?
But to the point. But to the point. No. As far as first round quarterbacks, they're going to get opportunity after opportunity. I mean, look at Trubisky. These.
It's funny you mention that because let's use our fair division, okay? Right. I think there's more stability in this division than maybe in other divisions. Now, hear me out, okay? You got Aaron Rodgers. He isn't going anywhere. Mm-hmm. You got Kirk Cousins, and while Minnesota Viking fans go like this over Kirk Cousins, I mean, he's very divisive. He's their quarterback. You know he's going to be their quarterback. Mm-hmm. Is Mitchell Trubisky going to be the Bears quarterback next year? I don't think so, personally. We already know the Lions made a change. Then you go to the NFC East. I mean, just off the top of my head, the Eagles, done. Is Dak Prescott going to be in Dallas? I don't know.
Well, where you go?
There's a chance he could go elsewhere.
Where?
We already know that. Well, that whole Washington football team thing would be interesting. Washington football team, I think everybody knows they're going to have a different starting quarterback. Alex Smith was a great story. They're going to move on.
Yeah.
You know what? I mean, it really is a situation. The Giants, I think they're going to have a conversation very soon about Danny Dimes. I don't think the kids. Maz, you're a new. I like him. Do you really? He's all right, but is he like a franchise guy? Do you think he's a franchise guy?
No
all right.
Saquon last year.
Yeah. I don't know about him. I don't think he's awful, but it's one of those. Is that the guy that you want to say? You know what? We're gonna go next level with this guy. Yeah,
this is who we're rocking with.
You know what I mean? I don't know about that. We'll wait and see. But this is. I think that's what we're talking about. And seriously, even for guys, do you guys ever, the younger guys, do you ever remember anything like this? I've never seen anything like this. And there are still. Where's Cam Newton going to go? What's New England going to do for a quarterback? You know what I mean? There's still so many big questions
That's a big
out
question
there.
mark.
And right?
That's a huge question mark.
It's incredible. I've never seen anything like this.
What pick is New England this year? Are they like what?
The
11?
teens. I forget
11?
exactly off the top of my head, but they're the teens. But hey, there's another team. Okay. Hey, listen, newsflash: the Patriots sucked last year.
Horrible.
Okay.
Horrible.
And they still went 7-9, and that's the worry when people when you do this about the draft, because this is all I heard a year ago. Okay. Oh, 2021, the Lions are going to stink, and so in 2021.
Hey, Sean, that bottle's empty.
You know what? You.
Let me pass.
I'll look into it. Don't.
Let me get you that.
In 2090, you. I don't feel so good. As a matter of fact, I feel really good. No, but like, how many times did you guys see a year ago somebody say?
Sean, I want to take a moment just to let you know some things. We have players on teams. You know what we call them. You coach them up, and you just do exactly what I tell you. These are we call these guideline players. Guidelines, right? You have some players you give the green light to, because some things you just can't teach. What you just did down there, you can't teach it. You can't teach it. You got the green light.
Thank you.
For me, I'm the guideline player.
Thank you.
I'm the guideline player.
Thank you. So listen, we're at a position where a year ago at this time, I was in club drafted quarterback last year. I was. I'll openly admit it. Scott and I have talked about it on our draft show.
What was wrong with that last year?
Well, people went nuts about it. Like, people got really mad at it. We have a quarterback in Matthew Stafford.
It doesn't matter.
And you know what my point was? How much longer is Matthew Stafford going to be here?
See, that's our issue here, though.
Here we are a year later.
We talked about this the other day on the show.
Short-term thinking.
No, yeah, but we talked about this the other day on the show. You bring in competition for every single position on the Lions organization, except for the most important position in the Lions organization, which is quarterback. How do we not bring in any competition to help push Matt to play better, right? To make better decisions, to make more plays, to kind of just excel as a player overall. He doesn't have, like, when you have a competition, that's what it does, right? When they brought Reggie Bush in, it made me step my game up, right? It made me step my game up. And then also I had a guy who came in who had a Super Bowl ring, who had the experience, who I can look at and say, okay, let's compete.
Yep.
Like, we need that on this team. And so when we played in the game, we had worked so hard in the offseason that whenever he had success, it would make me want to have success, right? And then when I would have success, Art, what's going on, Art? I need you to stay focused.
I think there's yelling in there, so.
Yeah.
There's always yelling. There's always yelling.
Always yelling. And so, and that was a good thing. If I was having a bad game, I knew Reggie would do well enough to until I can get out that slump, and vice versa, right? And so,
I love hearing you say that. Do you know why I love hearing you say that? I wish you and I had this conversation a year ago because, and Maz, maybe you were privy. I got killed by people for suggesting the Lions take a quarterback. Literally, I turned into Art on Twitter in some of my arguments with people. I was like, stop looking at what's across the street. There's a beautiful forest beyond that house across the street. Sooner rather than later, Matthew Stafford's going to be out of here, okay? And little did I know it would be this quick. They needed a quarterback. And do you know what I heard people say? And that's why I just like what Steve said. Do you know what I heard people say? There are two things that I always heard. Every person, like a robot, said, okay? They'd go into robot mode. The Lions don't need a quarterback. Matthew Stafford could be here for the next 8 years. Okay, what if Matthew Stafford has enough of getting his brains beat in here and wants to go someplace?
If he would have stayed here, he wouldn't have had another 8 more years.
Here we are. Then the second thing. This is the second thing. Well, we can suck in 2020, and then we can get in the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes. And my response to that was, well, you could suck in 2020, and you could still not be anywhere near Trevor Lawrence. That's where we are. In fact, the Lions sucked last year and aren't within the first 3 quarterbacks on the list. Mm-hmm. They are not going to get Zach Wilson. No. They are not going to get Justin Fields. And they are not going to get Trevor Lawrence. And that's why I make the joke about gazing into the crystal ball. It's kind of dangerous. Oh, we can just suck next year and we'll get Trevor Lawrence. You're not a snowball's chance in hell away from Trevor Lawrence. And so what Steve brought up and what you brought up, this is what drives me nuts. Well, people go, well, you can't draft a first-round quarterback and sit him on the bench.
You know what really grinds my gears.
Tell me why the hell not. How did that work out for the Green Bay Packers? How did that work out for the Green Bay Packers? They had a generational talent in Brett Favre. And sat, a guy that we sat on here on this show just a day ago.
Another generational talent.
And literally is considered one of the best quarterbacks of all time and sat his ass. How did that work out for Patrick Mahomes, who many people, including yours truly, think might be the best quarterback in the game today, okay? No disrespect, Mr. Rodgers, no disrespect, Tom Brady. How did that work out? They had a capable quarterback in Alex Smith. Yeah. Got him to the playoffs, for goodness sake, right?
Yeah.
But you know what they said? We have to look beyond that beautiful house across the street, and we have to look at the forest behind there and how we can build beyond that house. And by golly, I'd say that worked out well because they won a Super Bowl.
They did.
And Patrick Mahomes sat on his ass for a year. Now, that doesn't count. I'm not paying a fine for dropping the A word. No, Art, do I have to pay a fine for dropping the A word?
That's $1.
I would just like to say I haven't received a single dime from their swear jar, so put $2 in there. Make it 3.
Shawn, I swear. Hold on.
Here.
Put it right there.
Son of a gun.
Coffee mug's right there.
Right.
Oh, another one.
I said son of a gun.
You said son of a gun.
Thank you.
He said son of a gun.
Here, I can't reach that far.
Oh, he's throwing your money at you like a stripper.
Oh, you better pay me double.
No, but you know what? I mean, Mahomes sat.
That private dance, huh?
Brady sat. Rodgers sat. Fremont, exactly. And I think people are so short-sighted here. And now I get it, because this is the argument that I had with the beat writers last year. And I agree with this logic. Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia were trying to save their job last year. There was no way in Hades they were going to take a quarterback, okay? They just weren't. But my response to that was, so do you think drafting a cornerback is going to save your job in 2020? Because anybody with half a brain in their head, and ask the guy who played in the league, knows that a rookie cornerback is going to come in and he's going to struggle because he's on an island. And it's happened to some of the greats in the league. Now, are there exceptions to the rules? Yeah. And I want to say again, I think Jeff Okudah is going to be a darn good one. But Jeff Okudah was not going to be the difference between the Lions going 5-11 this year and getting to that magical point of 9-7 and maybe getting into the playoffs. Wasn't going to happen. Are you telling me Jeff Okudah was going to be a +4 in win-loss differential? You're out your mind.
With no true leadership in that room?
Not going to happen, man.
It's not going to happen. So, and that brings me to my next point. How we talked about when Slade came in and they benched him a few of those games his rookie year, and then people, we wasted a second-round draft pick on we got to get this guy out of here. And then what happened? He turned around, like you said. You don't hear from those guys when these guys like this become an All-Pro or they make the Pro Bowl or But people need to understand, Slade's situation is different from Jeff Okudah. It's different, right? and we talked about them about having that leadership in that room and teaching you how to be a pro and having guys in that room that's been there before, that you trust their expertise and you trust their advice. And so Jeff doesn't have that. And I've talked with people that's a part of the team that says, like, how do you do this to a first round draft? Like, he comes to the facility, he goes to work, he goes to the meetings, he goes to practice, goes to the weight room, he goes home by himself. He doesn't have family here, and he's just in his no one really to talk to. It's even harder because it's a pandemic, so he can't go out, and he's just stuck in the house. And that wasn't Slate's situation. So we have to give Jeff some more time to get
1,000%.
We have to give him time.
1,000%.
I love it. I love his.
It's not a free pass. I
It's
know
the
everybody
upside.
wants to
It's
say
not a free
you're
pass.
sticking up for your boy and you're giving him a free pass. No. That's reality in the NFL, man. Listen to the man.
A lot of upside to the kid.
Yep.
A lot of upside.
You know what? There's a name I want to bring up that Maz is very familiar with, and Joique. I want to hear your take because you brought up something a few minutes ago that was great. Yeah, when we come back from boy, you're smart.
Yeah.
No, when we come back, I want to hear you talk on this because how much time do you give a quarterback? All right? What does a guy have to do to show you he's the man? I think there's a perfect example in the National Football League right now of, did we pull the trigger too early on him?
My question is he starting his first year or is he on the bench?
He has been a starter from day one.
Okay.
And you'll remember the game, his first game. I just gave it away. If you're smart, I think everybody in this audience will remember his first game. But now, do you keep going with that guy when you have 2 more years of control? Or do you say after 3 years, seen enough? It's time to go in a different direction. We'll get into that when we come back. First, let me tell you, with the average price for an ounce of Michigan recreational dispensaries coming in at $300, why not just grow your own? With just one light, you can pull down up to 36 ounces each harvest. Do the math and go see our guys at Grow Green. They have everything you need to start growing today and the knowledge to make sure that you crush it. If you mention Woodward Sports, I'll hook you up with a t-shirt as well. Don't go anywhere. It is a Friday. So glad you could join us. He's Joique, Art, Maz, Fish. I'm Shawn. So glad you can join us on a Friday right here on Woodward Sports.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We are recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand. Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10.5 months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
Hire a graduate
of Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Hey, so do you guys remember Matt Patricia's first game? Do you remember the excitement? I can tell you exactly what I'm not joking. Do you remember the first play of the game? I hope you guys do. Monday night, pick 6. Rookie quarterback for the New York Jets. The Lions get the defensive genius in Matt Patricia. The first play of the game is a pick 6. Ford Field erupted. It was a Monday night. Everybody was excited. You know, Joique, a lot of people at that point in time were hoping that the 2018 Lions could get back to the point where some of your teams were. You know, and now we know it was never, ever going to happen. Okay?
Did we know that before the season started, though?
No, we didn't.
You didn't know that, right?
No. Listen, I'm going to say it again. I thought, though he wasn't my first choice, he really wasn't, okay? My first choice ended up in Tennessee. I honestly thought that Bob Quinn was going to build a team that Matt Patricia could use, and it just never happened. I mean, there's no other way to say it. And again, I need to say this. I think Bob Quinn's idea and vision for building a team was spot on. He came across as so smart. His execution deserved to be executed.
It was executed.
And rightfully so.
It was executed.
Rightfully so.
Right.
Yeah.
Good man, great guy. But the plan for building this thing, and like you said, I don't even think that his his plan would have worked. I think they brought that Patriot way here, and that's another thing we talked about. I'm gonna say it again: the culture. I don't want other teams' culture here.
Darren McCarty, Joique Bell. Here we are.
Here we go.
Get the C. No,
Yeah,
I mean,
we're going to see.
Listen, here's the
And
thing.
the C on my chest is a stand for captain, stands for culture.
I hope you understand. I'm saying that with respect. If guys that played the game always come back to culture, there's a reason they're coming back to it.
That's major tradition, right? Tradition. And I gave you a scenario about tradition a while back with the ladder and the monkeys and the different things, and that's kind of what culture kind of reversed back to, that tradition. You know, looking through Chris. You know, I've never been drunk before, so I can't do it the way you do it.
No,
Sean.
but this is like, you know what I did in that moment. It wasn't 10 minutes later. I was reaching for this bottle because it got so disgusting. You went from the high of the high of picking off this young quarterback and taking it to the house to this guy literally lighting you up in his rookie game. And then what we heard for the next 2 days is how the Jets got their superstar quarterback, and finally the Jets, this is the answer to Broadway Joe. And I mean, it was disgusting. It was all over ESPN for 2 days because, as you know, New York is the center of the universe. So I kept this bottle close to me. It was miserable. But here we are, 2018, 2019, 2020. And though Sam Darnold has 2 more years of team control, it sure sounds like they're ready to cut bait on the guy. Now, I don't know if it eventually happens. The rumors are out there. So this goes back to the question that you asked earlier, and I think it's a very valid question. How much rope do you give a guy like that? You're going to give the guy the first-round pick more.
Listen, a guy like that, you're giving him enough time, right? You don't think they give him enough time?
No, he had Adam Gase.
Huh?
Adam Gase was his coach.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You get this guy some time. So either A, you bring in some more. You bring in another guy, right? You bring in another guy. You can trade Sam, get some more draft picks, or you bring in a guy to give him competition, right? You bring in another guy to give him competition. That's the only way he'll get better. And if he doesn't get better then I'll say cut the bait. I'll say cut it.
Maz, as a Jets fan, are you ready to move on from Darnold, or are you saying give the kid a chance?
No, I want him with Saleh.
Quarterback whisperer.
It's going to be no more quarterback whisperer.
Quarterback
talk,
whisperer, huh?
please.
That's what you want.
Please.
That's what's going to make
I
him
think
better.
all they need is Harbaugh. He'll fix it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that.
The knife to the knife.
You will be a good quarterback.
The knife to the liver.
Sleep.
God.
When you wake up, you shall be a good quarterback. Like, what the
Sean, you have a very good way of just taking that knife and just digging it deep and you twisting it and you turn.
Do you know what it is? Can I explain to you? No, I want to explain to you. Mm-hmm. When I'm wrong, I'm going to be the first guy to say I'm wrong, okay? And I've been wrong about plenty of things, okay? But here, you know what? It is amazing to me how many people have awakened around here about certain things. And I'm sorry, when you're killing me about something 2 years ago, and now everybody's going, yeah, boy, look at all the failures at quarterback.
It's funny.
Pardon me if I don't go, hey, I was saying this 2 years ago, and you told me I was an idiot and a hater.
And so you're gonna love this right here. So they talked about Eisenman, and look how long it took Eisenman before he won his first one, and they never cut ties with him. How do you feel about that? I mean, that's.
Do you know what people don't remember? And if Darren was here, he could tell you this. I'm gonna go, Maz. I'm sure you know this. There was actually a press conference scheduled in a particular NHL city in early 1995. Because they thought that the Red Wings were going to trade Steve Yzerman to the Ottawa Senators. I don't know officially how close it was. I don't, okay? Mm-hmm. I know the particulars of the deal. Somebody told me the particulars of the deal. I don't know
what are the particulars.
The Red Wings were going to get a first-round pick and another first-round pick who was a young player that really hadn't blossomed yet, but eventually turned into a pretty good player. Okay. Not a high draft choice, but a pretty good player. I don't know how close it was to being consummated, But I know as sure as I'm looking in the camera and telling you that there were serious trade conversations, and one side was under the impression that the conversation was done. So at the end of the day, I don't think people realize, and Maz knows this, I'm sure Maz knows this. At the end, I don't think people realize how close Steve Yzerman came to being traded. Seriously. True story.
True story.
And now, this is my opinion. I don't know this to be fact. I think that was nothing more than Scotty Bowman being Scotty Bowman. The master manipulator, the master of playing head games. What he can get away with Art, he can't get away with Joique. What he can get away with Joique, he can't get away with me. This is 100% opinion, okay?
Yeah. So basically, you're going to the
I'm convinced
the dumbest of the smartest when it comes to sports.
I'm convinced that Scotty Bowman was doing that to send a message across the bow of the SS Yzerman that said, you're going to play exactly the effing way I want, or you're not going to be here. I'm convinced that's what it was. And I'll tell you what.
I want you to understand this.
I'll tell you what. It worked.
Let me tell you this.
It worked.
That's not just in hockey and what he was doing.
No.
Let me tell you what GMs do. And this is just watching and kind of observing things that goes on in the NFL. They bring guys in, right? They bring guys in. Say the running game is not running it. It's not doing too well. They'll bring in multiple running backs week after week on a Tuesday. The workout days are usually Tuesday in the NFL. They bring in the running backs Monday night. They'll work out Tuesday, and they blow it up in the media. Or they're bringing in such and such. And so now you're sitting there, you're just like, as a running back, you're sitting there like, why are they bringing in guys in? Like, we're not doing too bad. Like, we're not. Like, are they bringing in quarterbacks to work out? Are they bringing in DBs? Are they bringing in linebackers? Why are they bringing in running backs? Like, we're running well. We're doing well. But they do that, right, as a manipulation to try to get in your head. And they do that for multiple positions. They do it for every position, all right? I'm just using running back as and then what something else that they do is they bring guys in that they know they're not going to sign. Listen, they'll call your agent. Listen, we want to bring your guy in. We want to bring your guy in for a workout. They bring a DB in. They say they bring in a free agent, right? He comes in, he works out, and he kills the workout. Goes in the room, showers, goes in the locker room. He showers, he gets ready. They call him. Hey, come to the office. Let's have a talk. Listen. We don't want to sign you right now. We don't want to sign you right now, but this is what we want to do. You're in great shape. We can tell you're a pro. It's just we don't have any room on the roster right now. But listen, you stay in shape. We might be giving you a call back in a few more weeks. That's what they do. So why would you bring me here if you don't have any room on a roster? Why am I here? Here goes another thing. Hey, listen. You worked out great, but listen, you're a little bit older than what we want. But hey, we didn't know you had that much in the tank. But listen, we might call you in the future. Stay in shape. You never know. The window, the door's not shut. The window's still open. It's a crack in there. If you know you want to go younger, why would you bring me here?
Absolutely, right?
My age hasn't changed since you called me to the point I got. What? But this is what they do, right? This is what they do. And it's bullshit. But you know, it's manipulation. Hey, I never said that I was putting $1 in a short bar.
You can put 20 in there.
I never said that.
That's the difference. He's a businessman and I'm a dumbass.
Yeah, I never said I was doing that. I never said I was doing that. Art, you shut your mouth. But no, that's how it works. This is the business side of things that players hate. We don't like this side of it, you know, and that's just one side of why players say, you know what, I'm good.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting because, you know, I mean, this is, to me, I'm going to answer my own question about Sam Darnold. I wouldn't give up on Sam Darnold either. If I have 2 more years of Sam Darnold, I'm not giving up on him. I might, if I'm Saleh, I might come in and see what he's got this year. And if he's a complete bleep show, then just say next year, guys, we talked about this a year ago. We have a big rebuild, okay? Our rebuild's even bigger. This guy isn't it. This guy, I'd give him a year being the new guy. Would I give him 2 being the new guy? No, I wouldn't. Because by that point in time, Maz, my logic would be, hey, kid, You got a bum deal, all right? But you got 4 years under your belt now. Now under different circumstances, you haven't showed me anything. And I'd be upfront with them. I'd just go, kid, I don't know what to tell you. I know the first 3 years of your career sucked. There were bad circumstances. But, like, we have to move in a different direction. We're not talking about a guy that's a couple of years in now. We're talking about a guy that has 4 years under his belt. Yeah, and here's the biggest thing. It's a great
new team. That's what
he walked into a wonderful situation. He did. And
new team.
Is he a stud? No. Would I take Tannehill? Yep. I'd take him. What the year that he had last year? Yep. I'd take that. Now, we'll never know. Here we go again.
What
would Tannehill do without Derrick Henry?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, we do
Why
know.
do we talk about that?
We do know. We do know.
No. But I'm talking about in Tennessee. I don't know what he would have done without Derrick Henry. So I can guess based on what he did in Miami, or it could be a coach put him in favorable positions. I'm going to use Matthew Stafford as an example. People out there probably know this about me. I used to bash Matthew Stafford. I did. Openly admit it. I used to bash. And then you know what happened? I got to the point, especially once Jim Bob Cooter came in here, where if I bash Matthew Stafford, I'm doing it just because I'm stubborn. Because you know what I saw? I saw his mistakes go down and his numbers go up. I saw his QBR go up. I saw his passer rating go up. So
are you saying that JBC was a quarterback whisperer?
He was for Matthew Stafford.
Quarterback whisperer.
No, you know what I think? You know what? My personal opinion.
You was done.
Plug your ears. Plug your ears.
I thought you were done with the quarterback whisperer.
No, plug your ears. This is the truth. He wasn't incompetent like the other offensive coordinator. You don't have to respond to that. You don't have to respond to that. I'm not going to put you in that position.
I'm not going to respond to that, but I'm going to respond to why people are in here with negative energy and staring through glass windows with
What did I do? What did I do?
Me mugging. Looking at me with
I'm doing my job. We can't all just sit there and talk football all day.
Someone's upset. Someone's upset. Wowzer.
You are so animated.
I'm making sure you look good.
A wowzer.
You're welcome. Unbelievable.
I love it.
And Joique, to me, that's like, again, if you can't come correct about a guy, well, then you're just trying to be, somebody who's trying to stir the pot,
Hey, you're right. Somebody that's always trying to stir the pot.
I thought your quarterback, Matthew Stafford, was not part of the solution in 13 and 14. And part of it was Joique.
We had one of the top offenses.
Not in 13 and 14. Your offense in 14 stunk. Come on, you know it. You said it. I don't want to use the word stunk, but you held your team back. Your offense, if you did more, that team would have won something. With that great defense, I'm glad to hear you say that. Thank you. All right.
I'll say that. You know what, though?
It was Joe Lombardi. I have no problem saying that. I know you won't. It was Joe Lombardi.
I would never say.
I know you won't. I'll say it. It was Joe Lombardi.
Collective. It was collective.
That's like me trying to get it. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get in the room with my zero MMA experience, and I'm going to go in the ring and try to be an MMA star with Art. And then the next thing I know, Art's going to tie me up like a pretzel. He's going to, why are you trying to ask guys that aren't what you want them to be what you want them to be? It never made sense to me. Use a player's strengths.
So what?
Use a player's strengths.
A coach's job is to make you the best player that you can be.
1,000%.
So what about the players that had to switch positions, right, and became an All-Pro at a different position?
Did it fit their skill set? Seriously,
All-Pro.
did it fit their? To me, that's here. Let me give you. So then, obviously, it worked. Right. To me, when you're asking Frank Ragnow, who is a flat-out stud.
Different.
Yeah. Okay. So, Joique, are you ready? And I think I know your game fairly well. You ready?
All right.
All right. So this one, Joique, you are gonna come in. You are gonna be predominantly our blocking back. That's what we're gonna have you to do. Joique, I envision you as a blocking back. I want you.
So you want me to play fullback?
Yeah.
No.
Right.
No.
That's what I'm saying.
No.
But wait, Joique.
No, listen to me. No, let's revert back to that. I went to the Bears, and they tried that shit. They tried it.
What are you doing?
They tried me.
I did it on accident.
Yeah, they tried me. They tried it. All right, they said, "Hey, listen, Joe, we want you to go right here and fullback, just make this one block." I said, "Is this a personnel change, or is this just like a specific play just for this one play?" They said, "No, it's just for this one play." I said, "Don't let this become a habit."
Do you understand my point?
Said, yeah, but I'm a team player, but like don't put me out of position.
Of course, Matthew Stafford was never going to say, "Coach, question. Hi, Matthew Stafford, your quarterback. My arm is a rifle. You had a quarterback down in New Orleans that is using a BB gun for an arm. Why don't you let me do what works for me?" Drew Brees is great because you're putting him in positions that highlight his skill set. Why don't you put me in positions that highlight my skill set?
Because if you have a rifle, your range is broader than the guy down in New Orleans. No disrespect.
Yes.
You can do the short passes. You can make those tightrope throws. You can hit certain passes that Drew probably couldn't hit. You can throw farther. So if you can throw farther and your accuracy might not be as good as Drew, but hey, it's not bad. So let me bring that offense here, because everything that Drew can do, you can do as well, and it was successful there. Why can't it be successful here?
Well, Joique, can I say this though? Let me say this, and this is where I always take sides of players, because this goes back to the Rod Marinelli days. Rod Marinelli was the type of guy that walked in here and said, "I know football. I've taught football my whole life. It's all about scheme.
All right.
It's all about scheme. We're going to work on pad level, and you guys are going to become players, okay?" And to me, I've always been, I take your side, okay? You don't try to make players fit your scheme. You try to make your scheme fit players.
That's what good coaches do, though.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what good coaches do.
And unfortunately, you know it as well as I do. Ego comes into play.
I tell you this.
And these coaches are like, no. My answer is the scheme. The player isn't the scheme. And it's like, no, it's not.
A coach is who he is. A coach is who he is. So basically, if he comes in, and that's why we do numbers. We do stats every game. We do percentages on what percent do they blitz the most on third down. Third and 3 to 5 is when they bring the most people. They blitz in 35 to 38% on third and 3 to 5. That's who that quarterback. That's who that coach is. That's who that defensive coordinator is. That's what you like, and so you plan against their strengths, right? You play so we know you're gonna blitz. Then we're gonna have some hots. We're gonna have some hots because we know it's coming, right? And so sometimes that can be your weakness, right? You see what I'm saying? That can be your weakness. I remember we were playing the
stubborn.
Yeah, I remember we were playing the Washington football team. This is in 14, and it was third and I believe like 17, and we knew they used to like to do this. They'll mug both linebackers to the A gaps, and they'll send everybody. It'll be a zero blitz, and so they'll come in. I'll slip the blitzer. The guy that I'm supposed to block, I'll slip him and just dump it right in the middle. I'm just replace him, and it was almost a 40-plus yard game. And so it's stuff like that you plan against that can work against you. And is that being a good coach, putting your players in a position to win, or is that just you being the type of coach you are? That's who I am.
Too damn stubborn.
That's who you are, though, right? Does that make you a bad coach?
I think it makes you too damn stubborn.
If you had success with it throughout the year, to the point to where we know what you're going to do, it becomes typical. You become predictable, right? And so we know what you're going to do. So, but that's what they know, though. And coaches don't like to divert from, this is how we doing this is how we've been doing it. I don't want to go over here. But you see how it worked out for Tampa in the Super Bowl. How the DC got a little bit more aggressive. How Bowles got more aggressive. And he did things in the Super Bowl he didn't do in the regular season.
My buddy Stet said, right on, Shawn, look at Patricia. He came into an offense that had Stafford, Jones, Tate, Galladay, and was like, we need to establish the run and grind out wins. Now, I mean, seriously, read that again. Matthew Stafford, Golden Tate, Galladay, and Marvin Jones.
Mm-hmm. Who was our running backs at the time?
Grind out Kerryon Johnson.
He's not an every down back.
That right? I mean so. Stats, you're 1,000% right. I mean that's
another reason.
That's what we're talking about
and
here.
That's another thing about putting players in position to be successful. He should not have been an every down back. No, that's not his game. He doesn't have the body. He doesn't have the body type to be able to take on the load of being that guy. Right? He doesn't. Very talented player. Nothing against him. I like Kerryon. I like what he brings to the team. But being an every down back, you see he can't stay healthy. He can't take those blows. He can't take those hits. You know, you look at Swift. He's more of that type of guy. AP was more of that type of guy. But even then, are they able to take that load to be able to take 18 to 22 carries a game? Can you do that for 16 games in the season? Is AP able to do that now in this, at his age? Can he do that? I think I saw an interview with AP just recently when he said like the past 3 years he hasn't been able to train the way that he wanted to due to off the field things that was going on that he had to get corrected. All right, he had to step away from. And he was talking about how this season he's going to train the way that he knows he can train, which is crucial for a running back because the drop off that you have from year in, year out, you can go from here, you go here, and it's just the nature of the beast. It's father time.
You have, speaking of father time, let's use Mike brought up 2018 Lions. You have LeGarrette Blount, who when the bottom dropped out on him, it dropped out.
It dropped.
There's no other way to say it. You had Kerryon Johnson.
But yeah, he was worth that 4.5.
You had Kerryon Johnson, who was a rookie at the time, and you had Double Z, Zach Zenner. And you have a head coach coming in there, okay, with that wide receiving core. Think about that Marvin Jones, Golden Tate, and Kenny Galladay.
Yeah.
Think about that. And Steve just reiterated it was Blount and Kerryon in year one. Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. You had Blount, you had Zach Zenner.
But you know what, though?
You still had Theo in a certain capacity, and you want to establish the run.
What did Terry say yesterday about I don't want to pay players off of what they did in the past. I want to pay them what they're doing now when they come to my team. And so a perfect example is, but LeGarrette Blount had just won the Super Bowl the year prior to. I left the team the upcoming year because they didn't want to pay me what I was worth.
He's a wonderful guy, by the way.
Who? Blount?
Blount.
Great guy.
Wonderful guy.
Great guy.
Really. I mean,
yeah.
I
met him for the first time. We played in the Senior Bowl together. And so we was able to keep in contact throughout. And so when he came to Detroit, I said, look at you, you're in my city now. He said, this is my city now.
Well, I mean, it's so funny. Sometimes, a guy comes in and he carries some baggage, whether it's right or wrong. The first time I talked to him, I was like, this guy's awesome. Just engaging, I mean, gave you what you were looking for, looked you in the eye. I mean, it was like, this dude's cool, you know? It didn't work. But to Mike's point, you got LeGarrette Blount, you got a rookie in Kerryon Johnson who, let's be honest, I think we all found out that there's a reason why you just said what you said about him and what Scout said about him. This is a guy that can't stay healthy. Yeah. He's only a part-time player. That's just the way it is. That's no disrespect intended. That's just the way it is.
You don't have to
and
say
you got
no
fan favorite Zach Zenner. So you want to try to establish the run with those pieces when you have those pieces in the passing game? What the hell's wrong with you? I'm serious. What the hell's wrong with you?
And I love Zach. And the thing that they liked about Zach Zenner is that you knew what you were going to get out of him. You knew exactly what he wasn't going to disappoint. He was going to hold on to the ball. His ball security was good. He was a hard runner. He always fell forward, and he was very smart when it came to pass pro. And so you knew that you was going to have consistency with Zach Zenner. And the other guys you were bringing in was more so the talent. that was going to be the talent. The guys that can go out there and they can make the big play. Like Kerryock can go out there, they can make a big play. Swift can go out there and make a big play. AP can go out and make a big play, right? But you bring in a guy like Zach Zinner on the team, that's more of your consistent guy, right? And so,
and a guy like that has a role on the team.
Has a role on the team.
No question about it.
Good special team player. He's going to go down. He's going to make plays on special teams. He's going to be a role player, basically, all right? And he was a good role player. So, you know.
Yeah, and you want to establish the run. You got a
with
guy.
Those guys.
You got with that group of guys.
We've always had
Don't
guys
tell
like
me that isn't stubborn. That's dumbass stubborn.
You don't want to listen. You want to. What's the biggest? What's your biggest? What's your biggest weapons right now?
Weapons?
No.
We're in the time of weapons right now with this team. Let's be honest.
I'm talking about throughout the past 10 years. Our weapons has always been our pass game.
Yep.
No, we lived and we had success off of Matthew Stafford arm. We had some of the greatest wide receivers come through here from Calvin Johnson. You have a good player in Kenny Golladay. You have Marvin Jones. You have Golden Tate. We have Nate Burris, and we had all these guys who are good receivers, right? I mean, even when he was healthy and playing consistently, Titus Young was a good receiver here. Mm-hmm. I like Titus.
You bring up such a great point.
Huh.
I'll get to it in a second. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
No, I think it's
and
a great
so
point.
why not play to these strengths, right?
Yep.
And you always hear, let's have a balanced offense. You have to have a balanced offense because you want to keep the defense honest. So we have to run the ball.
Think about all those guys that you just mentioned. All those guys. And pretty damn good receivers. I'm not arguing one bit, okay? All right? You had Calvin Johnson, who was a high draft choice, okay? You know where I'm going with this. Marvin Jones was not. Golden Tate was not. Kenny Golladay was not. That's the National Football League today, man. There is incredible value at the wide receiver position. When you're rolling 3-4 deep, there is
what do you consider high?
Second round, third round, not necessarily top 10.
What round did Golden Tate go? Fourth?
I think he was third.
Somebody,
Matt, can you fact check me? I think he was third out of Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I think he was third out of Notre Dame. Golden Tate, third round pick out of Notre Dame.
Titus Young.
We're gonna.
Titus Young was high.
Do you know what I'm saying?
But Titus Young was second round.
Second round. You can grab these guys. Ryan Broyles, second round. You can grab these guys second, third, fourth, fifth round, and watch them. The late Vincent Jackson. Correct me if wasn't he a sixth round pick? Like that's the National Football League today, man. You know. Second round. Thank you. Yeah. So that's the National Football League today, where you don't. Especially like a year like this,
right.
I understand the argument if somebody says, do we have to take a wide receiver at 7? Now hear me out.
No.
Hear me out.
Let's talk about this.
Yeah, and we're going to. I love it.
Let's talk about this. Cause I was going there next talking about receivers, right? So we have the Lions, right? And you and I both talked. The top 3 receivers coming out was a guy from LSU, then you have Waddle, then you have DeVonta Smith.
2 Bama's, 1 LSU.
Right.
Yep.
So, who do you think is going first?
I think if his medicals check out, I think it's Waddle. I really do.
And second?
Are you asking my opinion?
Your opinion.
I think at that point in time, I would take DeVonta Smith. I am terrified of taking a guy that sat out a year. I am. I'm openly terrified. And maybe it's because I got burned by Cheetos coming here.
You got burned by Cheetos?
Cheetos, Mike Williams.
Mike Williams. Okay.
What about Cheeto orange all over me and Funyuns?
But did he set out a whole year? Or did he set out just part of the year?
Set out a year. Remember, it was the whole. What's his name from Ohio State? Maurice Clarett. Those guys were originally said they could go to the draft, and then they said the NFL challenged it, took it, kicked it up to a higher court, and they ruled against him. So he sat out a year. And I told you I had a conversation with Chris Carter the day before the draft, and he said he's the laziest guy. I've seen it. I worked out with him. And Chris Carter doesn't hold back. Chris Carter went all in on talking about it, and it was like, I want any part of that guy. And by golly, what happened when he got here? Laziest guy, gamer, all that stuff. Not that there's anything wrong with being a gamer, but when your time is consumed when you should be playing in the NFL.
This one thing I don't understand. And just you spend your whole life right? So from the time you're born to say you start playing organized football at the age of 8, right? Where most guys start about the age of 8. And you're playing all the way up until 17, 18. You go to college, you're in college for 2.5, 3, 4 years. You come out, you enter the draft. And then you get to what you've been working towards your entire life. And then you say you get here, then you just don't work. You just stop working. You arrived. Your window to make money in this league is already this short. The decisions you make, right? The decision, your work ethic, can either do this to your career or it can do this to your career. I don't understand that.
One of the best articles I've ever written, and Lord knows Tom Kowalski and I got into many arguments, and we got into an argument about Mike Williams because the day he was drafted, I was doing a draft show with Mike Stone at the radio station that we were working with, Stoney, and I literally lost my mind. I stormed out of the room. I'm not going to sit here and talk about this. I went Art, literally. I go, I'm not talking about this for the next 2 hours. Yeah. And you people are going to celebrate Mike. No. Killer loved the pick. Yeah. Loved the pick. Yeah. Within a year, he wrote an article and he said, I have come to the conclusion, talking to this guy many times, that when I come to his stall, I watch him see who's in the room, and he knows I can tell Tom Mazaway this to make him happy. I can tell Art Smith this to make him happy. I can tell Joique Bell this to make him happy. This is a guy that tells whoever he's talking to what he thinks they want to hear. And
why is that?
Played his whole career. Because he knew he wasn't doing the right things, so he had to say the right things. And there's a reason he didn't last long here. And nothing personal against the guy. Mike, I hope you did good things with your money. You were an awful draft choice, and you were a lazy player. And the Lions wasted a number 10 pick on your lazy ass. Those are the facts, man. Those are the facts. And you're a big part of the reason I have a drinking problem. I mean, but that's where we're at in life.
You like that, don't you, man? You like
no, but that's where we're at. I mean, really. So, somebody said, I want to go back. Don't waste a top 10 pick on a wide receiver. I understand that logic. I do.
Even Steve said $1.
But here's the question is, what are the options at that point in time? Like, what do we really think is going to be there at 7? Can I tell you my hope list?
It's going to be Devontae.
Can I tell you what my hope list is?
If you like Devontae, it might be Devontae.
I'm going to tell you what my hope list is. Now, do you know what my hope list is? I hope that somebody comes from the late teens, early 20s, and says, we're going to give you a first rounder this year, we're going to give you a third rounder this year, and we'll throw in our first rounder next year. I'd love a deal like that. And I have no problem with the Lions tumbling down in a year that everybody here, with the exception of one person who said, I forget who it was, on our Facebook page said, they're going to make the playoffs, mark my words. Everybody knows they're going to suck this year. I think deep down inside, you know they're going to suck this year. I have no problem saying,
they're just
optimistic. Of course they are. I'll take the 20th pick this year. Give me a third rounder and give me a first rounder next year. Whatever the case, find a deal. I have no problem trading down in a year like this because do you know what I think the options are?
How many first rounders would that be next year for us?
That would be 3 if they get another first rounder. Yeah.
And then that's another thing though about this year's draft. Like they don't have the combine, correct? They canceled that. They're not able to evaluate players the way that they have been used to in the past to get a thorough evaluation. And so now we're really picking off of just the season. Right? We don't know what type of shape these guys are in. And I'm gonna tell you right now that teams really figure out what type of player and what type of condition you're in when they come in for the private workouts, right?
And if there are Cheeto stains on your fingers, they don't want anything to do with you.
Nothing to do with you.
Millen.
I remember I did a workout for the Chiefs. It was the Chiefs, and I did a workout for Baltimore. And it was at Wayne State, and they were telling me, like, when you come back, when you walk back after you catch the ball, you can walk back because you don't have anybody to replace it. When you get back here, you have to keep going. I said, okay, no problem. I jog back every time. Like, I don't need a break. I jog back, and I made it through the entire workout. And so when I finished the workout, the coach said, "Man, you're really in good shape." And he said, "I worked out." I don't want to say his name, but he said I worked him out, and he was on a lot of people high draft boards, and he said he couldn't make it through the workout. And in my head, I'm thinking this was a breeze for me.
Right.
It was. I was tired, yeah, but I wasn't bending over at my knees and couldn't. One thing I never did was I never went to my knees to get air because I was so tired. Right. I remember. No. I'll give you. Funny, Shawn, right?
Me too. I never give up.
He says it like so.
Me too.
Like he's got that serious
me
look
too.
on his face.
Look at him.
Art, you're magic.
All right,
dude.
man, sit back. So I remember, my freshman year in college, we had winter conditioning, so we had winter conditioning, and we're running sprints, and they open up the mat thigh, they take all the walls off all the basketball courts, so we're running the length of 3 basketball courts and where the bleachers are. They put some bleachers back. So it's a good, 70 yards, probably close to it, I don't know. And so we're running, and I'm winning the races. But every time I win, I'll go down and get air. And so after I won like the 3rd or 4th one, the linebacker coach came up and said, listen, you're doing a good job, but listen, coach don't like when you bend over to put your hands on your knees. You're doing a good job, but it shows weakness. Don't do that. That's what he said.
Wow.
That's what he said. He said, but you're doing good. And he whispered this in my ear so other people couldn't hear him say it.
Wow.
And so I started when it took me a minute, but every time I finished, I learned how to breathe, just kind of standing up. And I'm tired, but it became a habit on me not bending over, showing weakness. And what happened for me, that kind of trickled over to the games, right? That kind of trickled over to the games, from me getting 50 carries in a game and me not bending over, not being tired. And even though I am, the defense never knew it. They never saw pain. They never saw me tapping my helmet. I need somebody to come in. And so that ended up working for me. And so it's the same thing I try to instill in my son and my nephew, that when they're conditioning, don't bend over.
They'd hate me because I'd like reach in my pocket and grab a brat. And then, like, after the next wind sprint, I'd be eating a rib. He
reminds me of that old lineman on the Little Giants that when he got hit, fell on his back, helmet came off, he had the peanut butter jelly sandwich in his helmet.
You wouldn't.
It's still good.
There would be so many.
It's still good.
I would have I'd have a smoker instead of a jock. I'd have a smoker down there. Are you kidding me? What the hell do you got packed between your legs? It's a smoker, sir. Pulling out some ribs and eating some ribs. Kevin asked a question. Kevin said, Williams was horrible, and if CC told you that, he didn't tell the Lions didn't hear it. That's why I'm so happy with this new regime. He said it on the airwaves. I'm not. The draft was Saturday. I had Chris Carter on my show on Friday.
Right.
Said it on the air in Detroit. And Joique, you know this. Word gets out about guys.
Right.
Word gets out about the knock against Mike Williams was he was lazy.
He was lazy.
And he came here, and guess what happened?
You think
he was lazy?
So I'm gonna ask you a question. What was the most important position you think on the team at the time that we needed? Do you think it was wide receiver? Do you think it should have been defense, a linebacker? And speaking of linebackers,
quarterback. At the time, quarterback.
At the time?
Joey Harrington was a disaster. Okay. I got killed for saying it for years, and that's one time, sorry, I raised my arm in victory. I'm wrong about guys. I'll tell you when I'm wrong about guys. Joey Harrington was you knew. Nobody wanted to admit it, but you knew.
They know.
You saw a year in, it was never going to happen with that guy. But you know what I did? It's not fair to crucify a guy a year in. So you know what I did? I shut my mouth, I zipped it up, I locked it.
Patient.
And I didn't say anything. I wanted to, and it literally, the last post-game show, I was doing post-game at the station I was working with, the last post-game show I did at the end of his second year, the first thing I said is, are we ready to have the conversation that the Lions don't have their franchise quarterback? You would have thought that I like cursed their grandmother. People went nuts. I said, guys, we're going to have this conversation. He isn't good. Like forget about serviceable.
Yeah.
He isn't good.
I have a conversation. I want to bring it up. so that we don't make the same mistake. What do you think a linebacker means to
you are so smooth.
To this team?
You are so smooth.
Well, we'll talk about it when we come back. Stay tuned.
To him.
You got Shawn Baligian and Joique Bell. Stay tuned.
Hey, it's Joey from Woodward Sports, and I am here in downtown Fenton at Bridge Street Exchange. This place has so many amazing things for guys. And ladies, this is the hidden spot that you got to come check out. I'm talking thorough good boots, best boots ever. They have barware. They got the Stormy Cromer hats. They got Carhartt hats, a huge Carhartt selection. They even got Snoop Dogg underwear. So go check them out, bridgestreetexchange.com, and use the code word WSN for 15% off.
What up, Doe?
What up, Doe? Dog. Put them L's up. L-Town. Put those. Cross your arms when you do it, too. What up, Doe?
Yeah, boy. I know what time it is.
Dog.
I got the flavor, Doe.
Oh, God.
Listen, I want to get to your point about the linebackers in a second because you were picking up on what I was feeding. Is linebacker overvalued at 7? Is wide receiver overvalued at 7? And I think the answer to that is yes, but with a twist. Maybe not this year. Maz asked a fascinating question.
He did.
That I never thought about that myself. So can you repeat the question that Maz asked during the break?
So Maz asked me about when they bring players in, when teams bring in players for workouts, how does it work? All right. So what do they pay for? What happens? You know. So what they do is they'll call you a couple of days in advance. They'll get your ticket, depending on who you are, it'll be a first class ticket, or you might have a coach ticket, just depending on who you are. All right. And so when I did a workout for the Bears, I did a workout for Green Bay, I did a workout for the Patriots, and I got invited to Buffalo. I didn't have to work out there, but they offered me there on the spot. They offered me in New England, I turned it down. They offered me in the Bears, and I took that one. I also did a workout for the Lions, right? And they said, well, listen, we're not going to bring you in, but if another team wants to bring you in, can you please give us the opportunity to match that deal? I said, okay, no problem. I said, okay. I said, you know what, this is my home. If it would have been any other team, it would have been a no. But for Detroit, I was like, yes, we can do that. So they bring you in. I go to the Bears. They pay for my flight. They pay for my hotel room. They send you a driver to pick you up, take you where you need to go. They bring you to the facility the next morning. You go through a physical. You'll pass a physical. That's usually the day that you get there. Get to the facility. You kind of meet the coaches. You meet the staff. They take you in the room. You might talk a little bit of football. Leave from there. You go to the field. This had to be the easiest workout I had ever done in my life.
Really?
My workout lasted with the Bears about a minute and a half. I did 2 drills. They looked at me and said, no, we want to sign you. They said, like, we seen what we needed to see.
I don't like you the last couple of days. I'm going to tell you point blank.
Yeah, minute and a half.
You keep saying nice things about the Bears, and you're not supposed to do that for me.
I understand.
And the Bears sent Joique a care package yesterday.
They sent me a care package yesterday. They take care of all the alumni.
I want to urinate on it.
I was there for 4 weeks. I'm alumni. I'm a Bears alumni.
I want to buy that hat off of him just so I can urinate on it. But like I'm sitting there going, no. Wow, the Bears are classy. Don't tell me the Bears are classy. Can you lie to me?
They're classy.
I hate the Bears.
I know you hate them.
I hate the Bears.
You know what's funny though? When I went to Chicago, I didn't think that I would like the city that much. Right? I'm gonna go there. I'm just gonna stay. I live right downtown. I love the city. I love my teammates. The cafeteria at the Bears facility was class A.
Stop it.
Class
Don't.
A. It was A class, bro. I'm telling you, it was just.
It was classy. It was very.
I mean, they had everything. They had everything they took me to the cafeteria. They had the bop, bop, bop. They had the brick oven pizza. Wow. Order what you want. It was like as if I went to Mod Pizza or is it Blaze or Blase Pizza? Blaze Pizza. Hold on, I'm done. So they had all this stuff there. They had the fresh juice bar, the fresh smoothie bar where they made all your smoothies fresh to you. whatever you want for breakfast, even if it wasn't on the menu, they didn't have it out. They go in the back, they make it for you. They had everything. And so I was like, I'm about to eat this, and I'm gonna go work out, and then I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna eat lunch too. If I'm leaving, if I'm not gonna get signed here, at least I'm gonna get some of this good food before I leave out of here. And so I went outside. I worked out for about a minute and a half, 2 minutes. Did my 2 drills, caught a couple passes, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna sign. And then it was also, I had played against them for so many years. They already knew my skill set. This is want to make sure, I still kind of had it. I had it. Go upstairs. I go in the hallway. I call the line and say, listen, I just worked out for the Bears. They offered me a contract. Do you guys want to match it? They was like, yeah, we heard you. We saw that you were there. And go ahead, sign with them. We'll see if something might happen in the future. I said, perfect. I'll go sign with the Bears. I'm there for 4 weeks. My neighbor here in Detroit actually had a condo in downtown Chicago. He said, listen, I'm going to give you all of October for free. You'll pay me for November. I stayed there for my 4 weeks there. They cut me the last They cut me like the last day of October.
No, because they're the Bears and they're jerks.
Yeah, they cut me. No, because I was only supposed to be there for like 2 weeks.
No, but they're still. Don't ruin my fantasy.
They kept me there. I stayed there. They loved me in the locker room. They kept me there. They cut me right in October, and so I didn't have to pay any rent. So I stayed there for free, basically, and then came back to Detroit, and then Detroit signed me probably a month later, and that was right before I graduated with my master. So it was everything. And then my first game with the Bears was against the Lions, and then when I came back to the Lions, my first game on the Lions was against the Bears. So full circle, right? So the irony of it all. But that's kind of how it works when a team brings you in.
Why'd they cut you?
Huh?
Because they're the Bears. That's why.
They had injuries. They had injuries. They had injuries on the team, and they had to bring in more players. And they had Jordan Howard was playing great ball, right? They had some younger RBs that were okay. I don't know why they didn't have Raheem Mostert playing or starting. I had no idea why they. I did not understand that at all. I'm literally in the talent knows talent, and I'm in there. I'm watching him in practice on a practice squad running against him. I'm watching his route running. I'm watching his hands. I'm watching his. I'm just watching this kid develop, and I'm in my head. I'm thinking, why is he not on the roster playing?
You know why? Because it's the Bears.
Probably so. But I never understood that. And so when I left the Bears, I came back home. So when they cut me, I had to drive home from the facility, right? So they didn't cut me yet. We got out of practice. It'll take me 2 hours to get home, right, from the practice facility because of traffic. 2 hours every single day, every Wednesday, Thursday, for sure. 2 hours every single day. I finally get home, kick my feet up, relax. They call me, hey, Coach wants to see you. Can you come in? I said, I just made it home, and it took me 2 hours to get here. So I'll be here in the morning. Well, Coach wants you now, so if y'all want me, y'all send me a car. I'm not driving in that traffic again. Okay, we'll send you a car. All right, cool.
Damn.
All right.
Arthur.
It was a pleasure. Hold up when I'm done. So when I'm almost done, Art. I'll get to you. So when I get to the facility, I said, listen, Coach, here go your playbook. It was a pleasure. He said, listen, man, it was a joy having you on this team, man. You was a great leader in our running back room. We're really glad we had you here. It was, Coach Fox I liked him. I like Coach Fox. He was a good guy.
He seemed like a good dude.
He was a good guy.
That's why he didn't fit in with the Bears.
Yeah, he was a good guy.
Because all Bears are assholes.
Not all of them. So
you were for 4 weeks. I hate to tell you that.
Hey.
I even told Coach Winters, I said, I don't like Joique anymore.
That's fine. We're working together now. Now you love me.
It's fun. I do.
Right.
I'm a big fan again.
Art, what you got?
Thank you, Mr. Joique. Just real quick,
Mr. Bell.
Out of all the teams that
Mr. Bell. But go ahead.
Mr. Joique, out of
Mr.
all the
Bell.
teams that you played for, which one, and obviously you're kind of partial to the Lions, but which ones treated you the best?
Like outside of Detroit?
Yeah, outside of Detroit.
Like the team that treated me the best.
Don't you dare say the Bears.
Well, the Eagles is, I would say the Bears. Because I was with the Bears on the tail end of my career. The other teams, I was there early on when I was just, before I got the contract, and I know you hate the Bears.
So mad.
You hate the Bears, sorry.
Yeah, like Kevin said, it really is a generational thing.
It's
Kevin
a generational thing. For me, it's the Packers.
Yeah, he said if Joique was waxing poetic about the Packers, I'd be going Shawn.
Yeah.
The Bears tortured me in the 80s. They tortured
that's
me.
in the 80s. I was.
They were bullies.
They killed you the year I was born. So
they were everything that I wanted the Lions to be. I've said this before. I'm going to say this again. Okay.
Look at Sean. Want to bring that culture from other teams. Look at
one of my favorite Lion games ever. Everybody talks about the '91 season, right? They went 12-4. They beat the crap out of the Cowboys in the playoffs. They went to the NFC Championship game. On Thanksgiving, for them to beat Mike Ditka and the Bears the way they beat Ditka and the Bears, do you know what they did? They outbeared the Bears. The Bears threw a jab. The Lions threw a haymaker. The Bears pulled a knife. The Lions had a gun.
What kind of gun?
The Bears.
You from Detroit? You got to say mag.
30-30.
Just say a mag.
The Bears. It's my hunting gun. It's the first gun that came to my mind. It's my 30-30.
Just say a mag.
All right. The Bears had a grenade. The Lions had a field of landmines. They punched the Bears back. They beat the Bears 16-6. They humiliated the Bears physically. It was like, to me, I'm not joking. That was 10 years of like absolute misery washing away that day. And then my dad, Maz, I know I told you this.
Is that when the NFC North became the black and blue division?
You know what? For the first time in my life, I felt like the Lions deserved to play in the black and blue division. And my old man sitting at home watching the game on television, I come home and he looks at me and he goes, "You think you're so cool." And I go, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Oh, I saw you, you hero. You got your beer in the crowd. Oh, look at Mr. Big Man drinking his beer." And I'm going, "Dad, if there was ever a day for me to get hammered, it's today." The Lions just emasculated the Chicago Bears on national television.
On national television.
Aren't you cool? Woo, look at me,
On
I'm
national
Sean.
television.
Yeah, hey.
Can I ask now? Let's be calm. Let's work through this. I feel like he needs therapy. Like, what would it take for you to love the Bears? Maybe if Joy gave you his hat.
No. Let me answer this. If you start to treat the Bears with more kindness, I'll treat Art with more kindness.
Well, that's never gonna happen.
Art, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Art. Exactly.
I
That's equivalent. That's equivalent.
No, it is.
I can't.
equivalent.
I can't do that.
That's equivalent.
See, but here's Art has only tortured you for like 4 months, okay? I've been tortured by the Bears for like 40 years.
Not 40 years.
Yes, I have.
40 years.
40
Yes,
years?
40 years.
I didn't lose to the Bears until what, 2016?
No, but what it happens
From
when
13?
you're young, okay? Like when I watch,
it stick with you.
exactly.
You
I
take-
watched
it take
Mike
with you.
Ditka come to this woebegone franchise and turn that woebegone franchise into the franchise that I still dream of today. Today, to this very day, I still dream of just having an era where even if the era ends with just one Super Bowl win, because you know what they do in Chicago? You know what, this is a real conversation. You know what they say? Why didn't the Bears win more? Wouldn't it be great to have that conversation just once? Golly gee, why didn't the Lions win more?
Team of the 90s.
Right. You know what I mean? Like the Pistons, okay? The Pistons had that wonderful era. Rats, we only got one title. What? Come on, man. I just went Joe Biden. Where's that Joe Biden face? Come on, man. You know, all jokes aside, I want to get this out before we get to the linebacker thing.
Yeah.
Jenna said, so my niece and nephew came into my work to visit. He looked at my phone and said, "Hey, how do you know Joique Bell?" Isn't that great? Jenna's watching, and her niece and nephew, Jenna and Joique are tight. Isn't that great? Send a shout out. Do you do that cameo
Shout out
stuff?
to Jenna.
Do you do that? Do you do that cameo stuff? If you like,
Oh, let's
think
do
he'd be
cameos
perfect for it.
together, Joique. You and I. We can make millions.
I think that you know what cameo is, don't you?
I don't know, man. Every time I hear his voice, it just changes I wear my emotions on my sleeve. Like,
All right, you know what? I'm going to ask the people out there. Would you pay for a message from Art and Joique to one of your loved ones? People would love that. Are you
But I
kidding me?
want 70% on the ticket.
$5.
you'll pay $5 for that?
Art and Joique
How
are
much do
going
you
to
pay for
send a
just me?
message to one of your family members.
I think
No,
Art
no.
would devalue me. I think Art would devalue.
You're where you're at because of me. Don't forget.
No, I talked to Chad about coming on the show. He was like, "You would be a perfect fit." That's how I ended up here. So
and I make you look beautiful. When you show up on time.
All right,
Oh
man.
boy! Now
All right, man. You
right
31.
back
Get
to
some
the
facial hair.
Right? Vinny said as long as those guys are doing their pretty TikTok. Yeah, but you know a lot of athletes are doing the cameos, right? That where basically you can like reach out to somebody and just go, hey, you know what? My like
Yeah,
Larry
no,
Larry
I've done
Robinson
that.
called me on my birthday. He was my favorite player growing up, right? He did it out of the kindness of his heart because he knew a couple people that know me and all that.
Mm-hmm.
He called me on my birthday live on the air, and I turned into a 10-year-old kid again. I did. I mean, you can hear it. It's on YouTube.
It's on
You
YouTube.
can listen. Yeah, you
What
can
happened?
listen
What
to
happened
it.
to your voice?
I literally went, no. And I go, Larry, I don't know what to say. Like, I'm like your biggest fan and all that. And he started laughing, and I go, I met him. Now, you know me. I talk a lot, right?
Right.
I talk a lot. I met him when I was 17 years old. And my friends that were with me laugh to this day because I couldn't say anything. It was like that old Saturday Night Live bit where Chris Farley like meets Paul McCartney. Do you remember that time you won the Stanley Cup? And then I just froze. And he was just going, so he's asking me questions. He was like, do you like playing hockey? So where do you live? Are you staying for the game tonight? And he's trying with me. I couldn't say anything. I was so like, I was starstruck, right? So they part of it was to embarrass me, and it worked because I turned into a little kid with him and everything.
A little kid.
But yeah, Sean talk a lot? Nah. But no, there are a lot of people out there like Joique. I think that'd be hysterical. Hey, Joique Bell here. All right, I'm gonna pull a Joique.
I'll get your nameplate that says Joique.
Okay.
Here we go. Go.
Hey, Arts kids, how are you? I heard 3 of you have the same birthday today, so I just want to say I'm a big fan of your dad, and I want to wish you all a happy birthday. I wish I could be there to celebrate with you, but in the meantime, go Lions, and happy birthday from me, Joique Bell.
Wow.
And they pay you money for that. You get money for that.
Pretty good. Now I've done. You know when I said
What up, though?
Yeah, you did forget what up though. You know what's
you
funny
didn't
though?
say the what up though.
Talking about Benihana.
You know what though? I will watch this. This football TV show called The Game. And for people who know anything about the game, then you guys will know this part. Malik Wright was the starting quarterback. I remember he got invited to do an appearance at a bar mitzvah, right? At a bar mitzvah, and so he said, "Yeah, they're gonna pay me $100,000 to go to this bar mitzvah. I'm gonna go do it." I'm like, "Dang, that'd be cool if I get invited to a bar mitzvah like that." That's in my book. That's when I've arrived, when I get invited, you know. And so later on, and I'm getting called for this kid who, this Jewish kid, he was having his bar mitzvah, and they invited me to come because I was like he was like one of my biggest fans. So his dad paid me to come to his bar mitzvah, and I went to that bar. Like I have never seen a party like that. I have never seen a party. I had never seen
Ain't
a
no
party
like a Jewish party. I'm telling you. I'm not.
I mean,
no joke. I mean, those people put on
from the
shows.
they had food trucks inside of the venue. Like so they had it was huge, and they even had food truck when it ended. Like, no, your parting gift right here. Like I was supposed to be there for an hour. I stayed their entire time. I stayed their entire time. I mean, from playing basketball, video games, the food trucks, the ice sculptures, the chocolate fountain, huh?
Did you wear the yarmulke?
No. No, I didn't. I didn't want to disrespect them like that. So, what else did we do? They had like some field stuff that like to portray like a football field where kids was playing on. It was really dope. Like,
is that great?
I mean, with the dim lights, the lighting in there was dope. And you know, I was just in there networking and just meeting people, and I was like, wow. That's when I said to myself, I've arrived.
Well, and you know what, Joique? Why don't we work on Joique's cameo? I'll only charge you 40% to set this up.
No.
You can keep
Only
40% of it.
You get more than my marketing team.
You know what? No, because I'm supposed to be doing your social media, so I get 100% of the profits.
When did I ever say you were doing my social media? When did I ever
wasn't
tell you that?
talking about you. The world doesn't revolve around you. I was talking about Sean.
Sean is not doing social media. He's not even on IG. He does Facebook.
I'm going to
I'm on
set
Twitter
him up
enough
with
for
his
all
IG.
of you, though.
Yeah,
Can we
He's
say
on Twitter
that?
now. He's on
Thank
Twitter
you.
enough.
Thank you. All right, no, listen, we're going to...
Thanks for ruining my money, Joique.
When we come back, I do want to talk about he brought the linebackers into the equation, and we're going to tie that in with the wide receivers because there's an interesting position the Lions find themselves in at 7. Will they stay at 7? And if they stay at 7, what might the options be? We'll come back. We'll talk about that. Wrap it up on a Friday afternoon. By the way, I hope your day's going well, and I hope you have the greatest weekend you've ever had. Woodward Sports.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We are recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand. Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10.5 months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
Hire a graduate
of Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
So I'm not supposed to? Hi, how are you? All right, so Joique, this is where we're at, okay? Mm-hmm. So I'm a firm believer. Fish, come on, you can. I mean, everybody's
Fish, get off
walking
the
in front
set.
of the
Get
Fish,
off
what
the
are you
set,
doing?
Fish,
Fish,
what are you
come
doing?
on.
What are you doing? That's art.
Fish, you're the best.
5 minutes.
You're the best.
5 minutes before every show. That's art.
You know we're messing with you, right, buddy? So listen, what it comes back to is this. I'm a firm believer. You can get wide receivers later. We talked about that, right?
Yeah.
You can get linebackers later. We talked about that, right? A couple of the names that we're hearing about are wide receivers and Micah Parsons out of Penn State. Okay. Now the X factor in this, what I don't know, the X factor in all of this is, I don't know if Brad Holmes and his scouting staff have been studying Trey Lance for a year and are absolutely in love with Trey Lance. You have to accept the fact, okay? I know everybody thinks that they don't have to take a quarterback this year, and you're right. They do not have to take a quarterback this year. No. But what I'm going to throw out there as a wild card is, what if they love this guy? What if this is forget about take a chance with Lance? They're in love with Lance. And some scouts, Scott Bischoff, who was in with us yesterday, love Lance. Love this guy. It doesn't matter that he went to North Dakota State. It doesn't matter if he went to Wayne State. It doesn't matter if he went to Findlay. It doesn't matter if he went to Winston-Salem State. You either have it or you don't. And the film don't lie. We don't know, Joique, we don't know.
What's the saying?
What Mr. Holmes, film don't lie. Tape don't lie.
Tape don't lie.
Tape don't lie.
If you got talent, they'll find you.
Yep. So I don't know what Holmes feels about Lance, okay? So it's hard to have these discussions until we find out what he thinks about Lance. Now, for what it's worth, Dave Burkett had his mock draft yesterday, and he had the Lions taking Lance, okay? There's a possibility that can happen. I hope everybody is well aware of that. Whatever you feel about the guy is inconsequential. This is where you have to trust your scouting staff. And I think, my opinion, I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm willing to give Holmes the benefit of the doubt, especially early on. But with that being said, if an opportunity, if you don't like Lance and an opportunity presents itself for you to fall back in the draft, why don't you fall back in the draft? If value can be had, and I'm just playing the role of devil's advocate here, okay? Just for the sake of conversation. If value can be had at both the linebacking position and at the wide receiving position, okay? And that's basically your choices. If you don't like Lance, your choices are simple at 8. It's one of the wide receivers or Micah Parsons. Sewell's not going to be there. Forget that. 3 of the quarterbacks are going to be gone. We've already established you don't like Lance. If those are your options, just devil's advocate here, wide receiver or linebacker, why wouldn't you fall back in a draft? Are we overvaluing the position by taking Micah Parsons and saying to everybody, well, he's clearly the best linebacker in the draft, so we had to take him at 8? Are we overvaluing the position? Are we overvaluing the position by saying, look, we got ourselves the best wide receiver in the game at 7. We're cool with that. Are we guilty of overvaluing the position? Just I'm an honest question. I'm intrigued to hear what people say about that.
No. Not linebacker. Not linebacker, especially middle linebacker. That's the quarterback for the defense. And when was the last time we had a good linebacker here? A legitimate middle linebacker.
DeAndre Levy.
He wasn't middle. That was
Middle?
Yeah, Tulloch.
Tully.
It'll be Tully. It'll be Tully. Now, Tully and Levy probably the best linebacker we had here in the past decade.
He was so good.
He
He
was-
was such a good player.
And what round did Levy go from Wisconsin? What round did he?
Was he third? I
Third?
think
So-
fact check that. I think he was third.
Yeah, just to make sure. And you had a guy like that was number 2 in the NFL in tackles behind Kuechly with, I think, 153rd. And I think that 2014 season, he had about, 154 tackles, something like that, or 151. He was right behind Kuechly by just a few tackles. And you can find guys like this, caliber type player later on in the draft. It doesn't have to be a first round.
Thank you.
And that's point proven right there.
Thank you.
And I think Tully went 4th round? Stephen Tully? 4th or 5th? Like
To Tennessee, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And so you have guys of that caliber who come in with that skill set, with that chip on their shoulder. He went 4th. Right. So Tully went 4th. And so yes, you can find guys like this in the draft. You can find them later on in the draft.
And I love what Steve said. The last first-round linebacker here didn't do the best. And I'm going to say it again. I feel sorry for Jared Davis. I do think a big part of his problem here is putting that guy in positions to fail as opposed to positions to succeed. I really do. And I think the world of Jared Davis, like the person, he's done everything that's asked of him. Joique, he's a workout warrior. I don't know how well you know him.
You know what though? Let's see how he does under this new regime. Because this might be what he needed.
Here.
I think he'll be here. We'll see what happens.
I hope he is. I hope they give him a brand new lease on life.
Even if he's not a starter, right? And they bring in some more guys, and then he works his way back up. They put him in position to be successful. Let's see what happens then.
He is, and this goes back to the conversation that we talked about earlier. He is the poster child. How to misuse a talented player. He is. When you're consistently putting a guy that isn't good in coverage. Everybody knows he isn't good in coverage. When you're consistently asking a guy, hey, we don't just want you to cover. We want you to cover a flat-out stud in Zeke Elliott coming out of the backfield. Well, what do you think's going to happen? Zeke Elliott's going to catch an 80-yard pass against a guy like him and set up a winning field goal or winning touchdown by the Dallas Cowboys. And so what did you think was going to happen? Right? It drives me out of my mind. And you know what? Joique, I'd love to hear you say that because it really is, if I can get a viable player later that can fit in with what I already have, why not take him later? Why do I have to? So am I saying, well, we had to take this guy because he's the best?
How do you keep these type of guys off of other teams' radars? We're not really looking at him.
No, it's lying season.
Yeah.
That's what the scouts call it. It's lying season.
Yeah, it's lying season.
Yeah.
All right. He's all right.
You see that kid out of Wayne State? He's slow. There's a reason he was in D2. But you don't think conversations like that? I know for a fact conversations like that were happening.
For sure. Marvin Jones. Marv explains what he wants to see in this free agency. All right.
Rams.
Why is that?
He and Stafford have a thing.
Have a thing.
They have a thing.
And where is he from?
Is he originally from West Coast? Is he a West Coast guy?
Is he from Cali? Is he from the area?
Is
that going back home?
Is he a Cali guy? I don't know.
He looked like a Florida guy.
Yeah.
He looked like a Florida guy.
Cali guy?
I think they might live in San Diego. They
Really?
might.
He's from Miami, Florida.
He played at Cal.
He's from Florida?
That's upstate.
And-
so he's from Florida,
so he's
but he
from
played
Florida.
at Cal, which is more upstate.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
in the Bay.
Yeah.
In the Bay.
But he and
Midnight
Stafford
Sunshine.
have a thing. Anybody that watched the Lions, they have a thing. There's no other way to say that.
So if he can
that
get-
that back shoulder throw, 50-50 balls. I hate the term 50-50 when it comes to that. It wasn't 50-50. Marvin came down with him. It was more like 85-15. When he made that throw, it's a 50-50 ball. It's a contested ball. It wasn't a contested ball. Marvin came down with it.
Came down.
My apologies. He is from Long Beach, California.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, he's from. So he went. Okay.
Yeah, so
All
he's
right.
trying to go back home. Yeah. Look at you from more. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? My job is so hard. I gotta look up where people live. I just gotta go on Google. I can't get that right. But okay. On to the next. Lions have 18 players set to become unrestricted free agents starting March 17th. Sure, you okay?
I'm trying hard to play peacemaker here, and you guys aren't making it difficult.
6 more
You're making it
minutes.
very difficult on me.
It's actually 5 minutes and some change, but hey, who's counting?
No, actually, I have to play the clip for Black History Month.
Well, there's only 4 minutes left then.
Oh my God.
I hope people know how the Lions are going to cut so many players in the next couple weeks. It's going to be insane. I hope people know that.
Yeah.
I really don't think that people
The
are.
Lions have 18 players set to become unrestricted free agents starting on March 17th. This go to Marvin. Marvin had just 5 seasons with the Lions. He's completed that this past year. Had 978 yards, 9 touchdowns. He was a primary receiver for the Lions. Slim chance of him returning. If I were him, I probably wouldn't want to return either, because who wants to start a rebuild in this stage of your career?
No.
No one wants to do that.
Nobody wants that.
Nobody wants that. So, Marv, it was great having you here in Detroit. You did what you could.
You have to remember,
Go win yourself a championship before you retire.
even with the cap going up, that helps every team. Okay, the Lions, when the league year starts,
It helps every team when they're spending the entire salary cap.
well, and they're already going to be. It's an estimated 10 to 12 million above the cap when the new league year starts, because you have the carryover from not only Stafford's money, the 14 million that's going to come against the cap.
You get taxed that,
but Jared Goff as well. Yeah, that carries over. So they're and you got that big hit on Goff as well. So you're talking about there in all likelihood. All right, and it was funny because if you watch the draft show, that'll drop tomorrow. You're talking about probably Coleman, maybe Trufant, Nick Williams, Danny Shelton, Chase Daniel. You're talking about lots of contracts that are just going to be poof, you're gone. You're cut. Guaranteed money already paid? Okay, cool. Later.
You don't think they're going to keep Chase Daniels on the roster?
Who?
Chase Daniels.
No, I don't. Just one man's opinion. I honestly think they're going to go, what does it matter? We suck anyway, so why don't we just leave David Blau in there? Really, I think you pay Blau this much, you pay Chase Daniel that much. Like, to me, it's like, later. We're not trying to win football games. They're not, whether you guys want to admit it or not. They're not going to say it. I'll say it for them. They're not trying to win football games. I put Art in. Sign Art to the league minimum. Yeah. Art, you're the backup quarterback for the Lions. Congratulations.
I'll do cameos. Hell yeah.
I would pay for Art to do a cameo. Jack and Lauren, Art, I work with your dad. Your dad's great. Let me tell you about this Joique Bell guy, though, okay? That would be a great cameo.
One thing, hold on. I want to harp on this real quick before we go.
How
the heck did the Weeknd get a Super Bowl ring with that terrible performance? I don't get it. It was horrible. It was the worst performance I have ever seen at a Super Bowl. Katy Perry stuff was better than that. Oh, Katy Perry was better. It was horrible.
Keep going.
And it was horrible. Man,
it was not horrible.
Terrible.
And he's the only Super Bowl halftime performer that's got a ring.
It was terrible. This is what he was doing. This is what he was doing with his camera guy.
Art.
His camera guy is like, that's what he's doing with his camera guy.
Grammy Whammy said, great show. Have a magnificent weekend. I'm going to stay with positive Grammy Whammy now. I'm with you, Grammy Whammy. Make this a wonderful weekend. I can't speak on whether the show was good at halftime or not. I didn't watch it. I had ribs to tend to. Art, I mean, no disrespect.
They've got it on YouTube. YouTube's this feature where you can watch videos. It's crazy.
Do I have to?
No, you don't have to.
Okay, thank you. All right, is it time? Can we say goodbye now?
So they have a movie that just came out. They have a movie that just came out. It's called, was it Judas?
Mm-hmm.
Judas, about the history of the Black Panthers. And so today we have just the birth of the Black Panthers, so you guys can see what the group, how it got started, and how it's a part of our culture. So you have Shawn Baligian and Joique Bell. Thanks for tuning in. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Gang, gang.
In October 1966, Bobby Seale and Huey P. Newton, a pair of students in Oakland, galvanized by Malcolm X's philosophy of black self-determination, launched the Black Panther Party for self-defense. Their goal was to protect their community from racism and violence, which meant protecting it from the police.
When we first started, we had a police alert patrol, and we would patrol the community. If we saw the police brutalizing anyone, we put an end to this. Usually the police wouldn't brutalize anyone if we were on hand.
Did the Panthers embrace a willingness to use arms to defend themselves? Absolutely. Unfortunately, that's usually the only part of the story that we get. Even more energy was expended in social programs.
The Panthers put their revolutionary philosophy into practical action. They developed programs targeted at poor black people. They provided the community with free medical care, including sickle cell screening programs, as well as clothing for the needy. Many believe that the Panthers' free breakfast program for school children helped inspire the USDA's federal breakfast program.
We were not for integration, we were for self-determination. We wanted to have the right to determine ourselves what we wanted. Economic opportunity, decent education, access to the full complement of privileges, benefits, and responsibilities of any American.
Not even the FBI was able to stop the spread of the Panthers' ideals, encouraging black people to defend themselves from police brutality and fight for their rights. Decades later, the Black Panthers' legacy continues to live in a variety of political, cultural, and social realms, most recently in the Black Lives Matter movement.